Hello everybody and welcome back to another video asking how would I judge a RuPaul's Drag Race season. Today we are doing RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under Season 1. Now this is a season that is, let's just put it plainly, is disliked by the majority of the fan base for very obvious reasons. And I don't like it either. However, I think in looking at how the season could be rejudged, I think this is a season that's pretty easy to look at and see what things could have been differently and see what would have made the season so much more enjoyable for people to watch. So let's get right into it. Some rules to remember are, as always, the season has to be as long as Season 1 of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under originally was, which was 8 episodes. We are putting myself in the position of the main judge here, so we cannot change the number of episodes that occurred during the season. And also, the performances and challenges need to be based off of how well someone did or how well people would predict they would do. As we are changing what happened during the season to make it a bit more fair and more enjoyable, and obviously in my opinion, there's going to be some people that make it farther in the season farther than they did originally. So we're going to have to grade those challenges that they would be participating in based off of how well they participated and, placed in similar challenges earlier in the season and how well the general populace thinks that they would do in the challenge. The goal of this, as always, is to act as if I'm the head judge and craft the season however I can imagine to make it as fun and eventful as possible, while still being fair with my judging of the season by combining my own personal tastes and what was shown to us on the show. So let's get started with Episode 1. Episode 1, as originally, is going to be our design challenge of the season, our opening design challenge, similar to, that's always been done in RuPaul's Drag Race UK and here in this first season of Down Under. We are going to be switching a good amount of the placements this episode. Well, actually, I say a good amount. It's really just kind of like 1, 2. Winning this challenge, we're going to have etc. win. Initially, etc. placed safe in the challenge, but etc's looks were my absolute favorite. I am confused on why she wasn't in the top. And according to a lot of people online, they would have put her as high in this challenge, in actuality, above Scarlett Adams, but I'm going to be putting her as winning the challenge because I think she deserves it, and that's what I want to do. I am going to keep Art Simone as high. Her looks were great, and I am going to be bumping Karen from Finance down to high as well. Then the rest of our placements are exactly the same. Electra Shock and JoJo Soho are going to be lip-syncing against each other to Tragedy by the Bee Gees, which Electra Shock is going to kill, and I love Tragedy by the Bee Gees. It's such a good song. I don't know why. I needed to say it. It's underrated, personally. So let's move on to Episode 2, which was the Snatch Game of the season. Instead of doing what was done originally, where the top 3, which are still the same top 3 here, were, all called safe and winning, and then the bottom 6 contestants got critiques, we're going to be grading this challenge as it should have been graded regularly, because frankly, it wasn't as terrible as it was kind of implied to be. Like, it was one of the weaker Snatch games for sure, but it wasn't terrible. Nita Wiglet is still going to win this challenge. Her Queen Elizabeth was so good. She did a great job in it. Etc. and Ketamine are going to be placing high in this challenge. Some people are uncomfortable with Etc's interpretation of Lindy Chamberlain in the Snatch Game, but being entirely honest, I find it really funny. Like, it's so like, it's really funny to me. And I'm not going to apologize for it. Also, who else would place high here? I guess Electra could place high here, but I do think Etc. definitely did better than her, and so did Ketamine. So those are tops for the week. Our safe contestants are going to be Electra Shock, Karen from Finance, and Scarlett Adams. None of them did really great. Electra did fine. Scarlett and Karen did okay, I guess. But really, they're just safe because the bottom 3 did worse than they did. And our bottom 3 is going to be Maxi Shield, Coco Jumbo, and Art Simone. And we're going to have the same bottom 2, Coco Jumbo and Art Simone are going to lip sync to I'm That Bitch by RuPaul. And as was done originally, Coco Jumbo is going to stay and Art Simone is going to go home and will not have the opportunity to return later in the season. Moving on to Episode 3, we have Queens Down Under. Now, usually in this type of challenge, I would be inclined to grade it as teams because, it is like a mid-season song challenge. However, I think with the performances this episode, it only makes sense to not do that because the performances and the quality of them were very much spread out amongst the teams. So originally, Electroshock was in the bottom two for this challenge. This time she's going to be winning the challenge. The vast majority of people agree that Electroshock should have at least placed high in this challenge, because she did a great job. She was really kind of the standout of her group. And I think she should have won it. I think she had the best verse. She had the best performance. She was the Beyonce of her group, and that is a good thing. You want to be the Beyonce of your group, and she did it very effortlessly. Anita, Wiglet, and Ketamine are going to be placing high this episode because they did an amazing job in this challenge. They excelled in it. This means that Scarlett Adams was pushed out of the top. I don't think she deserved this one at all. She was entirely safe, in my opinion. And she's going to be placing safe along with etc., etc. Our bottom three are going to be Karen from Finance, Maxi Shield, and Coco Jumbo. I actually decided to put Karen from Finance low here. I think most people would put her as bottom two for this challenge. However, I preferred her performance and lyrics over Maxi's. I really do. I think it's pretty clear to most people that these are the bottom three, but I do prefer Karen's performance here. So that means that our bottom two is going to be Maxi Shield and Coco Jumbo. They're going to be lip syncing to Shake Your Groove Thing by Peaches and Herb. And I said the Maxi Shield would win this. I think both of them have a genuinely good chance of winning this lip sync. However, I think this song really kind of fits into Maxi's wheelhouse, and I think that Maxi would win it. So we're going to move on to episode 4. Episode 4 was our design challenge of the season, the Recycled Challenge. Instead of placing high, Maxi Shield is going to win this challenge. Her look was outstanding here. I love it. And I think it makes perfect sense for her to win this challenge, and it seems like most people agree that she should have won this challenge. Electroshock and Scarlett Adams are going to be placing high here. Scarlett Adams was here originally. Her outfit was very good. I'm going to keep her here. Electroshock, I believe, was just safe originally. She might have been high, I forget, but she's going to place high here as well because her outfit made out of the ties was super good. Originally, Anita Wiglet was in the bottom two and went home. This time she's just going to be placing safe. I really liked her outfit a lot. Her outfit was super good. Like, sure, it's a thing that we've seen done on Drag Race before, but, like, if you didn't want them to do that again, then why did you give them the materials to do so? And also, even if it was done before, that doesn't like, take away from the fact that it's a good outfit. So she plays it safe for me. Etc. places low here, as I believe she did originally. It wasn't a bad outfit, it's just kind of boring, in comparison to all the other outfits that were presented. Karen from Finance is going to stay in the bottom two and is going to be joined by Ketamine. I do not understand why Kita was safe for this challenge. Her outfit was not good, sadly. I wish I liked it, but I don't. It wasn't a good outfit. It was balls attached to a dress and just like a weird looking like bald a weird looking ball headband. So yeah, she's gonna place in the bottom two with Karen from Finance. They're gonna be lip syncing to I Begin to Wonder by Dani Minogue. I said that Ketamine would stay here. I mean, we didn't really see. We saw one pretty good lip sync from Kita, which was the physical lip sync, and we saw kind of like lip sync to Untouched from her. And I do think she could definitely do better than Karen from Finance here at this lip sync, so I decided to keep Ketamine and get rid of Karen. Here in episode 5, we are going to be addressing the racism that has been performed by Scarlett Adams. It's hard to say whether, prior to the season, like, actually being filmed, that, if you took place as the head judge, would you have known about that, like, Scarlett Adams's, like, racism in her performances? Because, like, obviously, if you know that pre-season, like, if I was the head judge, I'd be like, no, we're not putting them on the season. But, like, there's really no way to know what people know or knew. So I decided the best way I think to deal with this is that these allegations, and I say allegations, but they're like obviously true. They get addressed in episode 5 of the season, in which Scarlett Adams gets called out on stage. This episode 5 being the commercial challenge. I decided for this that we are going to be doing a similar situation to when Inti decided to, quit the competition in episode 3 of Drag Race España season 1, where after these allegations come to light, to RuPaul and to everybody on set and the contestants and everything, Scarlett Adams is going to be disqualified from the competition, and we're going to have our placements as follows. Electra Shock is going to win the challenge because she won it originally. She did a great job in it. Since Anita Wiglet is here now, we have to think about how she would do. Since this is like a pure comedy challenge, I think she would do pretty well, which is why I decided to put her high here. Ketamine is going to be placing safe, and Maxi Shield low, and etc. bottom 2. This is like the same order that they placed originally, just, without Karen from Finance or Simone here. And since Scarlett Adams is going to be disqualified, we are just going to have etc. Do a lip sync to Absolutely Everybody by Vanessa Amorosi. So yeah, we are going to be saying goodbye to the racist asshole Scarlett Adams in this episode, and we're going to be moving on to episode 6, which is the Makeover challenge of the season. Now we have 2 contestants here who were originally not here, those being etc. and Adita Wiglet. In past design challenges, etc. has done overall well. She was low for the recycle challenge, but her outfit was still good. It was the worst out of like the top 5, but that doesn't mean it was a bad outfit. So I decided to keep Ketamine winning the challenge. Her looks were amazing. She just totally deserved it. I don't think Anita or etc. would have done better. I decided to put etc. high here. I do not think she could have been in the bottom 2. I think she would have either placed high or safe. And depending on her previous looks, I think she would have probably been high here. Etc. Electra Shock is going to be placing safe here. Because her looks were pretty decent, and I think Anita Wiglet would do worse, which means we have a bottom 2 of Maxi Shield and Anita Wiglet, and they're going to be lip syncing to Better the Devil You Know by Kylie Minogue. I think Anita Wiglet could very well win this lip sync. The only lip sync we saw from Anita during the season, she didn't do that well on, but in Better the Devil You Know, Maxi Shield didn't do that good of a job either. So I do think it is very much possible that Anita Wiglet would stay here, and that's the way I'm going to judge it, even if she technically does do in this like fake scenario. Even if she did do slightly worse, I would still keep Anita Wiglet here. Moving on to episode 7, the talent show. We have 2 contestants here, again, who were not here originally, Anita Wiglet and etc. And I think they'd be in the bottom 2 here. We saw Electra and Kita's performance of this challenge, and they did amazing jobs originally. I would put Electra Shock as winning the challenge, and Ketamine as safe for this. So again, our bottom 2 is going to be Anita Wiglet and etc. Just because I don't know what they would do to outperform either of Electra or Kita's performances. Like I imagine that Anita might try to do some comedy like number, but like, knowing how like comedy routines go on Drag Race talent shows, I imagine it wouldn't be super great, and I just really don't know what etc. would do. I think she might like do like a good like high energy dance number, but I don't know. And even if she did a high energy dance number, I still think I would probably prefer Kita's and Electra's performances. So they're the bottom 2 this week. However, I am going to keep both of them regardless of what the results of the lip sync are. The lip sync being to Untouched by the Veronicas. And I gotta say, Untouched is one of my favorite songs of all time. Like, genuinely, it's one of my favorite songs just ever. But I imagine that the lip sync between Anita and etc. here would probably be a bit lackluster in terms of the energy. And it would probably be very equivalent, so I wouldn't know how to like grade it. I guess if you're wanting me to choose someone who I think would do better, I think etc. would do better here, and Anita would go home. However, I am going to keep both of them so that we can keep 4 contestants in the final. And honestly, I just want to see all of them in the final. I think it'd be a very fun final, you know, our Kiwi queens and etc. Moving on to the finale of the season, we have etc being eliminated here right before the final lip sync. I do think she would do a good job in this episode. However, our other three contestants have done better throughout the season. And also, I think she would do the worst in the episode overall. So I think it just makes sense to get rid of her here and have our Kiwi Queens make up the final three. In which case, Electroshock would win the season, having the best track record and also having the storyline of kind of being the underdog at the very beginning, lip syncing the first episode, and then climbing her way to having the most challenge wins. And also the fact that she's beating, you know, like her mentors in Anita and Kita. I think that'd be a very interesting storyline, and it's a storyline that we've never seen before on Drag Race, and I think it works pretty perfectly here. And as always, a little track record slide here at the end, just really condensing everything else I've already stated within this video. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching this. There's going to be another one of these coming out very shortly, so if you liked this, I hope you'll like the next one, and if you like this at all, please comment, like, subscribe, whatever you wish. So yeah, thank you all so much, take care, and bye-bye.